Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be showing you how can you implement Schema List View extension in your apps. This extension allows you to create any type of list very easily with many inbuilt features as you can see. This extension comes with more than 60 types of animations. You can buy this extension by clicking purchase button here and you will be redirected to the purchase page. The extension cost is $7.499 Indian rupees. So let's move to the Kodular now. As you can see, I have already created a project with some little design of the search bar. In this video, I would also be showing you how to implement search bar in the list view. And for the design, I have created a simple shopping list view design. As this extension works on the basis of schema, you just have to create a static design, then we will be generating the schema of it to use it in our app. For the database, I will be using MySQL on free hosting with the PHP script by Typhoon. You would be able to find all the links in the video description. So first of all, I will be generating the schema of my design in design screen. Make sure to drag only such components that you are using in your design, otherwise it might cause problem while generating the schema. So let's export the IA, and I will be using my own schema generator tool for generating the schema. You can also use any other. So upload the IA here, and after uploading you will see that all of your screens will be listed here, and then select the screen in which you have made the design and click on generate button to get your schema. So as you can see, my schema has been generated now completely. You can also make some changes in the JSON itself if you want. Till then I will be saving this schema back in my Kodular project in a text string, so use it later. I have saved the schema text in this string. Now let's move to the hosting to configure our database and PHP script file. The dashboard has been loaded, and you can find your website here, clicking it to open it on the new tab so I can get the website URL. Now back to the dashboard, I will be opening some other necessary tools like database and file manager. As you can see, I have a database already created for this project, so let's open PHP My Admin. Now here, as you can see, I have already created a product table with the testing data of about 200 rows. I will be fetching this data by Pagination and will be showing it in the list view. In the file manager section, you would need to create the PHP script to call the database from your app. I have already uploaded the script of Typhoon in my file manager and filled my database details in it, and the secret key too. Now I will be closing all the files, and all these tabs to move to Kodular. Now, I will be making a simple design here with a container and a progress bar, then we will be moving to the blocks. Our designing is finished. Now let's put blocks to make our app work. Firstly, we will be creating a procedure to call our data from MySQL with the help of web component. You can find the MySQL connecting docs on the Typhoon MySQL page. Since I am creating this tutorial for schema list view, so I will be doing MySQL connection blocks faster. If you get any doubt in the steps, please let me know in the comments. I will be replying you to solve your query. Since I will be using Pagination to load the data, I am assigning a variable total size that will store the total number of items that have been fetched from the database. Initially it will be 0 as no data has been fetched yet. Now let's initialize the extension in the container. So the first parameter is type. This basically denotes the type of list view we want to create. There are two types, linear and grid. For now I will be using linear. The second parameter is orientation. This basically denotes the list direction as vertical or horizontal. The third parameter is the reverse layout. If we want to use the reverse layout feature, then pass true to it, otherwise, false. Reverse layout is basically used in chat view types of list views. For now I am using false. Now pass the schema here of your design that you saved. Then the next parameter is click listener. As this extension handles almost everything for you, the click function is one of them. You just have to provide the ID of your component here on which you want to add the click. I would like to tell you one thing, in your design that you use to generate schema, the name of the component will be its ID. As you can see, I have already renamed some components here, like cart title and price, because I want to use them later, so I assigned a familiar ID to them. These IDs will be used to set the properties and values to them. Now if we get back to the click listener parameter, then it asks you a list that contains the IDs of the component on which you want to enable clicks. Since I only want to click on my card view, so I am only giving my parent card ID. Now the second last parameter is the animation. For now I am not using any type of animation, so I will be using none here. Now the last parameter, that is total, we will be setting it through the total size variable, as we will be modifying it according to the data loading. Now the schema list view has been initialized. Then I will call the procedure load to load the initial items to show them in the database. Let's assign another new variable that will store the amount of data that we want to load on every call. I am setting here 50. If I show you my database, then you can see there are a total 200 rows, so I think it's fine to load 50 items on every call. So now that I am completing the database connecting things, I will be fast forwarding it as it has already been documented very well on the Typhoon page. Now I will be telling you the query that I am going to use today to fetch the data by pieces in multiple calls while scrolling. If I open the SQL console here, then I would like to tell you that there is a keyword in MySQL to limit the data, that is limit. It basically means the amount of data that you want to get. Since our page size is 50, I will be assigning here 50. Now we have made the query through which we can fetch the 50 results at each time, but what about the selectivity? I mean, we don't want to fetch the same rows again and again, so for that there is a clause in MySQL that is offset, which means how much data you want to skip before selecting the data through limit clause. For example, if I enter the 0 after the offset, then it means it will fetch the first 50 items from the table. As you can see here, it's showing the first 50 items of the table. And similarly, if I enters here 50, then as you can see, it has skipped the first 50 items and showing the next 50 items. So I hope that you got the concept of pagination here. Now back to the blocks. I will be writing the query here through the variables that I have assigned. So first I will write here like select all from products, and then I will add limit. After that I have to enter the number which will decide the amount of data that will be fetched. Since I have already assigned page size variable for that, I will be using it here. Now in another string I will write the offset. Make sure to give the space after limit and also before offset and then after offset. Now give total size variable here as it will store the offset. Now I have built the query. Let me explain it to you. This query will select the data from products table by a limit, and our limit is the page size. You can give any page size, and then there will be an offset which will decide that how much data we want to skip. Since we don't want the same data again and again, we will give offset such that the data that has been fetched already should not come. In this case, total size stores the amount of data that we have fetched. That means we can use total size as our offset as this data is already fetched. If we use it here as offset, then this data will be skipped and another 50 items will be fetched. Now the query has been done. I hope you understand. If you have some query, please let me know in the comment section. Now I will handle the circular progress bar like it should be visible when the data is being loaded, and after the data is loaded, it should be hidden. Since the load procedure gets called whenever we want to load the data, we would the progress bar like this. Now I will use the getText event to handle the data callback, but before that I will drag a notifier for showing errors. If the query ran successfully, then it will return the data with 200 response code, else we will show error that data failed to load. Now and then I will handle the data and will filter it and then will distribute in the lists to render my list view. Since this is also very well documented in the Typhoon MySQL page, I will fast forwarding the data filter. Now I have filtered the data successfully. As you can see, I have declared 3 variables: title, images and prices, and filled the data in them. Now since I am using loop to add every row in my data variables, at the same time I will add this items in my list view. To add an item in list view, there is a block named notify item inserted. This block adds an item to the given position. Since the item will be added on the bottom of the list view, so I will use the total size variable to give the position. I will add 1 to the total size variable in the loop that will set the total items in the variables, as you can see. Now then I will use this position to add the item at the bottom of the list. Now this is the time where the progress bar should be hidden as the data has been loaded, so I will set the visibility of the progress bar to false. Now we have completed the data fetching task, and the left step is to fill our data to the components. For that we will use the setValues event of the extension. This event raises when we should set the data of our list. Since we have the data in our variables, so I will set it to my components. For that there is a set property block in the extension. If I show you my design, then there are 3 components in which I will set the data: the image, title and the price. And as I told earlier that the name of the component is its ID. So now I will use getComponent block to get the component by using the parent parameter and the ID that I know. Since I have to set the text of the title, so I will give the ID title, and in the property I will give text, and for the value I will get it from the titles variable that contains the whole list of my titles. And now I will do the same for the price label too. Now the left thing is our image. When you are showing images through URLs, you should never set them directly as it will hang your UI. The correct way to show the image from URL is to load them asynchronously. You can use extensions for that. But this extension has the already image loading function as an inbuilt feature. So I will just use the load image block to show my image without using any other extension. This block has 2 extra parameters: loading image, which mean an image that will be shown when the image from URL would be loading, and the error image, which means the image that will be shown when the image from URL failed to load due to internet or any other problems. Make sure that both images should be present in your local storage or assets, otherwise it does not make any sense to use them. For now I am leaving them empty as I don't want to show these images. So now our job has been finished. Let's clean up the code and test this APK. As you can see that our list has been loaded properly. All the products from our database has been listed here. Now if I scrolls it to the end, then currently there is a problem that it's only loading 50 items from the table but wants such that when the user reaches the bottom it would load another 50 items. So now we have to implement the pagination that is very easy as we have already handled our query. So now there is an event named reached bottom in the extension. This event is triggered when the user reaches the bottom of the list, and that's the time when we will load another 50 items. So in this event we will just call the load procedure which will automatically fetch another 50 items for use and will filter the data to our lists. And I would like to add one more thing, a variable named loading which will let use know that if the data is being loaded or not. We will use this variable to prevent the double loading as it might call load procedure twice before the fetching the data which would impact the UI. I will use this variable in reached bottom event with if condition such that it should only call the procedure when the loading is false, otherwise it should do nothing. And also don't forget to set the loading variable to false when the data is loaded, otherwise it won't work on next scroll. So again let's clean up the code and test our APK. So the data is loaded and let's scroll to the bottom, and here the progress bar is showing and the data has been loaded. It keeps loading the data whenever we reach the bottom. This time nothing loaded, which means our complete data has been loaded and there is nothing left to load now. So now we will implement a notifier that will let use know that our data has been loaded completely. So I am assigning a variable data ends variable with false value. Now I will use the if condition in getText event to check if the fetched data is empty or not. If it is empty, then it means there is nothing to load, and at that particular time I will set the data ends variable to true, meaning that there is nothing to load anymore. Now in the reached bottom event I will check the data ends variables. If it's true, then will show a notifier that the data is loaded completely, else I will let continue the process of loading. Now let's clean up the code again and test it. I am just scrolling it to the bottom now. And yes, it's working fine, showing data has been loaded. So now our list view task has been finished, and I will add search function in the list view now. As you can see, I have already created this design earlier with the material icons. Now firstly I will do the text listening things. In the text changed event I will show the clear icon according to the text. If the text is empty, then I will not show any clear icon. And when the clear icon will be clicked, I will set the search text box to empty. So now, search function is one of the greatest inbuilt feature of this extension. This extension provides you the complete blocks for the using search without doing anything. So this extension has 3 blocks to implement search. The first block that we will use is configure search. This block register your lists that you are using. For example, I am using 3 lists, title, image and price, to render the data. So I will store these lists in the extension through configure lists blocks. This block registers or stores the list, and when you use search block and search any string, then the extension will search that string in your registered lists, and then it will send the final result to the onSearch event. So for now I am storing my all lists in the extension, and since I am using pagination in which my data gets updated every time it reaches bottom, so I will put this block below the loop, so whenever the list gets updated, it also gets updated in the extension. You have to put your lists in a list and then give that list to this block like this. Since I have 3 lists, I will give them all. Now I will use the search block in the text changed event and will search for the text of search text box. This block will search the data in stored list and will send the final result to the onSearch event. Now in the onSearch event you have to update your data with the sorted lists, because your variables contains the original data, not the search results. So just update your data and you have to do nothing else. Your search will work automatically. The data will be in same order that you used in the configure lists block. So now the whole task has been done. Now let's clean up the code and check the APK. Here we are. First I will load all the data to know that if it's working perfectly. Yes, it looks fine. We got the notification, means the whole data has been loaded. So now I will use search function to search any string. So here I enter Samsung and you can see it's only showing the items which contain Samsung keyword, meaning our search bar is working perfectly. So thanks everyone, this was all for today. All the links and files that are used in this tutorial will be provided in the video description. Don't forget to check out. Extension link is also in the description. If you have any other doubt, please let me know in the comment section. I will be meeting you in the next video of chat view integration with push notification, so subscribe the channel and stay tuned for the future update.